Hello everyone, in this short video tutorial we will explore what an open source modeling software like TINKERCAD has to offer. This program allows us not only to 3D model, but also to write code and create circuits for free directly from the browser. To access it, all you need to do is click on the first link in the Google search like this. Once the page loads, to start modeling, you'll need to log into your Autodesk account or register for one. So we click on the button and here it will prompt us to log in. Once done, we find ourselves facing the dashboard, where we can select the type of work we want to perform. For convenience, today we will focus solely on 3D modeling. Now we find this drop-down menu, which we can toggle with various options. The first among all, the work plane tool, which during modeling will be used to focus on a single face of the object to be modeled. Moving on, we find the ruler tool to get more precise measurement on the work plane we are looking at, and finally, the nose tool, which allows us to mark peculiarities within the model. Below, we find basic shapes, essential for the type of modeling the programs allow us to do. Here we can choose what type of object we want to bring to the program and add it to the work plane, like this. Here a dialog interface will open, allowing us to modify our object as desired. Above all, we find the Move with Mouse function, which allows us, by selecting the object, to move it through its center. Right next to it, we find the Mirror tool, which allows us to mirror or flip the select object. Here it's not visible, because the object is regular, but it's flipping it. Next, we find the Align tool, which, in the presence of two objects, allows us, by selecting both, to align them with respect to one of the faces. Next to it, we have the Group and Ungroup tools, which allow one to group two shapes into one and the other to separate them. Here, next to it, we find a small drop-down menu, which allows us to hide nodes or suggestions that the program gives us. Moving to the left, we find the Undo and Redo tool, which allows us to undo and redo actions. Then, next to it, we have the Delete tool, which will delete our objects. Moving on, the Duplicate and Repeat tool, which allows us to create serial copies of an object, like this. Clicking on the button, it creates new ones. Finally, we find the simpler Copy and Paste, which, by selecting the objects, allow us to copy and paste it. Immediately below, we find all the tools to change the view. In this case, here, there is the View Cube, which moves the entire plane. Here, instead, there is the Home button, which straightens the plane for a clear view of the object. Here, the Zoom, and then a plus and a minus to zoom in or zoom out. And finally, the Perspective view, which allows us to change how we see the object. Now, let's see what is above and below the interface. Starting from the top left, we find the name that we can modify. Here, I'll call it Video 1. Moving to the right, we find various ways to interpret our view of the object. The first is for simulation, the second is reminiscent of Minecraft, and the third, instead, is a simulation where the objects are turned into Lego. And finally, we found an interface to add a collaborator to our project or go to our account. Returning to the main interface, at the bottom we find Settings. Here, we are allowed to change the background or simply review the graphical settings of the program, review the mouse and zoom speed, and change the unit, in this case in millimeters, inches or bricks for the other display options. Finally, we find presets that are linked to some different kind of machines. For simplicity, we will stay with TINKERCAD. After that, we can close everything and notice how there is no need to save any project. In fact, all saves within the program are done automatically. However, if we are interested in exporting the file, we just need to go to Export, select the format for our work, in this case 3D printing, click on the format, and the file will be downloaded. For this video, that's all. For more content like this, follow JBDTube.